Hey guys, so I'm going to prepare a ground beef and vegetable soup. It's cold here. The temperature is supposed to be dropping pretty low tonight, and so I'm gonna make a soup for my family. And so I'll bring it over just a second and show you the ingredients that are gonna go in the soup. Okay? All right. Okay, guys, so the ingredients I'm going to be using for this hamburger soup is I'm going to use some corn. All my veggies are frozen. You can use canned. I've used that too. It's fine. So I'm going to use corn, peas, and carrots. I'm going to put some lima beans in there and green beans. And I'm going to cut up, I have some white potatoes that I need to use up. So I'm going to have potatoes in there. And then I'm going to use tomato sauce and some tomato paste. I don't have any crushed tomato right now. And I'm not going to run out to the store and get any because it's crazy at the grocery store. So I'm just going to make this work. And I'm going to be using salt and pepper as the seasoning. And I'm probably going to use some sugar too in this soup. And then not a lot, but just, just enough sugar to kind of give it a nice flavor. And then I'll be using the ground beef. So we'll start off by putting the ground beef in a stock pot. So let me get that over here. And my stock pot has a little bit of water in there. Just so the meat won't stick so bad. In this particular pot, it kind of sticks. And I think I'm out of olive oil, if I'm not mistaken. So, but anyway, I think I'm out of olive oil, or else I would have drizzled some olive oil in there. And you can use some fresh onion if you'd like to for the soup as well. And I would saute that onion first, like in some butter or olive oil with some salt, and get it softened, and then add it to your meat. That's what I would do. But and the reason why I say that is because my kids don't like that onion taste. So if it's soft enough, they won't notice it. But if it's crunchy, kind of like crunchy, like they will notice it and they will refuse it. They won't eat it. So that's why I say that. And there's and also older people too, a lot of times don't like when you're making dressing and stuff like that, that onion, bell pepper, celery doesn't too much agree with them. As they've aged and gotten older. My beautician taught me that years ago. My beautician, Miss G. She said that she taught me to just put your celery, onion, and bell pepper in your stock and get the flavor of that in there. But don't put the bits and all of that into the actual dressing in case you're taking it to people that it just, doesn't agree with them and gives them indigestion and all that kind of stuff. So I've always kept that in the back of my mind ever since she taught me that. But let me see here. And it was valuable because I think a lot of times we don't think about our older relatives that may want to enjoy some of the things that we cook. But they're not able to because it's too much seasoning or too many little bits of this and that in there. So it's always nice to, to try to think of and be sensitive to people's dietary needs. I'll just put it that way. Okay, so I'm just going to I broke up that ground beef. And I'm going to put some salt and pepper in there. Let me see. I went over and washed my hands just now. That's why I walked off. So I'm going to salt and pepper that. And I'm going to use black pepper in this soup, not white pepper. I love a beef soup, a vegetable soup with black pepper in it. I like the way it looks and I like the way it tastes. It has just a fabulous taste to it. But I'll be adding more salt and pepper along the way. But I'm just doing this to season this ground beef, okay? And just like, I don't know if you all have seen my chili video, but similar to the chili video that I uploaded, I'm going to brown this meat until it's just got a little bit of pink in it. I'm not going to cook it all the way through. And you can do this with chicken too. I know after I had my second child, my mom stayed with me for a while, and you know, to help me after the birth, and she did a vegetable tomato-based soup with the chicken, shredded chicken breast in it. It was really good, and she put rice in there instead of potatoes. She did rice. I can't remember if it was brown rice or white rice, but it was really, really good. So you can do chicken instead of the ground beef, or you can do ground turkey as well. I've never had ground turkey with this particular soup, but I'm sure it would probably be fine and probably taste good. I know everybody's not a proponent of beef, and some people doesn't, you know, beef doesn't agree with them. So you can, and you can also substitute a plant-based meat if you would like to for this particular soup. And when you drain this beef, you want to keep some of the rendering of the fat. You don't want to drain it all off, because you want to have something that's going to tenderize your vegetables. So you don't want to drain all of the fat from the meat off of the, you know, out of the stock pot. You want to leave some behind. Okay, so I'm going to take this over and drain it, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so I drained out about half of the fat that was in the pot. You can see how much is left in there. Let me see if you can see that at the bottom. That's about how much is left in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add my tomato sauce. Okay, and I filled the can up all the way because I'm going to need the liquid for the soup. So I've gone ahead and added a can. I may add another can of water to this as well. And here I'm going to go ahead and add my sugar too. And I'm not going to put all of the veggies in here at this time. I'm going to put the lima beans in and the green beans, because those normally take longer to cook, and doesn't take very long for peas and carrots and corn. So I'm going to put the lima beans in here first. And that sugar I just added. And let me go ahead and add some salt. And then I'm going to add the tomato paste as well. And I'm doing tomato paste because I only had 1 can of tomato sauce. So that's why I'm doing a can of tomato paste. And so I will add additional water to kind of, you know, to dilute the tomato paste. And this is just a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. And what you're going to want to do is just be sure to taste it along the way, to make sure that the seasonings are, you know, that you think the seasonings are good and all that kind of stuff. So just keep in mind to taste it during the cooking process. But let me go ahead and get these green beans. And on the vegetables, I'm not going to tell you how much to put in your soup, because it's personal preference. You may not want a lot of green beans, or you may not want corn, or you may not, you know, you may not want lima beans. So you don't have to do what I'm doing, and you don't have to add the same amount that I'm adding. I'm adding the amount that I know that my family would want and that I like and that looks good to me. And so that's what you're going to want to do whenever you decide to do your soup. Okay, but I know that lima beans, butter beans, which I think my mom has made a soup before with speckled butter beans in it, or speckled butter beans, and they just take a while to cook. So she always taught me to put your lima beans or speckled butter beans or butter beans in there first and allow those to cook, you know, get going. And just keeping in mind that I know that I'm going to be adding peas and carrots and corn, so I'm trying to leave room in there for that as well, for when I add those later. But that looks, see that, to me, that looks good. But along the cooking process, like I said, just check it, stir it, and make sure that it visually looks good to you. It's whatever you like and whatever you want. And you could even put Swiss chard in here. I know I have I make a white bean chicken chili with Swiss chard in it. It's excellent. And my kids, they don't even know that Swiss chard is in there. They're probably like, what? But it's a bitter leafy green. It's really good. But that chili is good. I've taken it to like teacher days and stuff like that. You know, when they ask parents to cook for teachers or whatever. I've taken it to those things over the years, and it always, my white bean chicken chili gets eaten up. I don't ever have anything left when I take it. It's excellent. It really is good. I'm gonna put a little bit more salt, and then I will add the onion powder as well. I've got to find it. All right, so I will bring you all back. I'm gonna let this cook for a while. I'm gonna bring it to a boil and then turn it down. And let it simmer. And so then I will bring you all back when it's boiling so you can see what it looks like, okay? All right, guys, so the soup is boiling and you can see what it looks like. And I'm gonna go ahead and add, I found my onion powder, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some onion powder. And I may add some garlic too, but for right now, I'm just gonna start with onion powder. And that's maybe 2 teaspoons. I'm not sure. I tend to kind of eyeball. You know, I think that was probably about 2 teaspoons, possibly. You know, if you're a measurement person. But you'll just want to do it to taste. You could start with a teaspoon or start with 2 teaspoons and taste it and see what you think. And you don't have to just add the seasonings I'm doing. I mean, you could. I know my mom in her soups, she uses Mrs. Dash, certain flavors of Mrs. Dash in hers, because she tries to watch. Well, she used to try to watch her salt. I'm not sure if it's still the same, but you know, she would use Mrs. Dash. Some people may want to use Lowry's. Some people may want to use Tony Chachere's, because they may want a spicier soup or what have you. But this to me is just kind of a southern soup, and so I don't want to add like Tony's and, you know what I mean, like Tony Chachere's, crushed red pepper and all that. It's just kind of this is a universal soup, and so I try to keep it very basic with just salt, pepper, and some sugar. And I'm telling you, people think they have to add all these different spices and seasonings to things. You really, some things maybe you do, but you really, really don't. You don't have to have rosemary and all this for this soup for it to taste good. It's just good. It just really is. And sometimes the less seasonings that you use in something like this, the better it tastes. So I just try to keep it simple. But like I said, you know, you can put in there whatever seasonings you prefer. So I've got this boiling. I'm going to turn it down to a simmer, and I'm going to allow it to simmer for about an hour, and then I'll come back and look at it, and then go ahead and add my peas and carrots and corn, and then, you know, add my potatoes maybe sometime after that. I'm not quite sure. It just depends on what I see when I lift the pot. And at that point, and you want to stir this periodically too. Don't just leave it sitting for an hour unless you have one of the, like a non-stick pot like this. My stock pot is not non-stick, so I have to kind of stir it sometimes, just to make sure that it's not sticking at the bottom. It smells good already. So, but yeah, anyway, so I'll check this in an hour and I will bring you all back, okay? All right. Okay, guys, so it's been about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and check the soup. And I have been stirring it, you know, periodically. Okay. And so I'll bring you over so you can see. I'm going to go ahead. It smells really, really, really good. I'll bring you over so you all can see it. And I'll stir it a little bit. Okay, and so I'm going to add a little bit more water to it, and then also I'm going to add. Sorry, my dad brought some groceries over here. I'm also going to add the peas and carrots and the corn. And I will, because the corn and the peas and carrots, they don't take very long. So I'm going to probably go ahead and add my potatoes too, as well. And this is a 12-ounce bag. I think I'm just going to add all of it. Okay. And this is a 60-ounce bag of corn. Depending on, you don't have to add corn if you don't want to. Some people don't like corn. I'm probably going to add about 2 cups of corn. Maybe not 2. Maybe it looks like it's going to be like more like 1.5 cups. Okay, that's what it. Just eyeballing it. That's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, and then and you can kind of see it's a little thick, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and add some water to it. Okay, and once I get it going, I'm going to turn it up some. Once I get it going really good with the addition of the peas and carrots and the corn, I will look at it again to see if it's still tomatoey enough. I may add another can of tomato paste if it looks like it's not tomatoey enough. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes as well. And I just peeled these right before I started recording and placed them in some cool water and then just hit the record button. Let me drain this water off. And the corn and the peas and carrots will cook at the same rate as the potatoes. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and add them now. Okay. All right, and so then I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid back on here. I've turned my temperature up, and I'm gonna let it come to another like boil, and then turn it down so it can continue cooking for about 30 minutes or so. And like I said, I'm gonna check it, stir it along the way, and see if I need to add more tomato paste or not. If I do, I'll let you all know that I added another can of tomato paste. Okay, all right. Okay, y'all, so it is boiling now, and so I'm gonna mix it, and you can see the potatoes and everything. And I'm going to go ahead and add another cup of water, and just from a little plastic cup. It's not a measuring cup, so I'm not even sure how many actual measuring cups this is. It may be probably like half a cup of water or something. But so I just put some water in there. I'm gonna stir it. And I think that it's looking good, and so I'm just gonna put the lid on it and go ahead and let it cook, like I said, for about another 45 minutes or so, and it should be done at that point. Okay, guys, so I am back now, and it is done. I wound up going ahead and adding 4 more tablespoons of sugar and copious amounts of salt. I can't even tell you how much I added, but I shouldn't say copious, but it was a lot, but I think copious may be a strong word. And copious amounts of pepper too. Now that is the truth. But so you can see it here. And I tasted it. It tastes excellent. I added a whole lot of black pepper, more black pepper to it, because I like to see the little specks of black pepper in my soup. I just like to see it. And I think I may end up going ahead and adding some more black pepper to it, and I'm about to do that now. Just because I like to see a lot of black pepper in my soup. But this soup is excellent. It's, like I said, it's cold here. I think it's supposed to be like 8 degrees this evening or something like that. And this soup is excellent with like grilled cheese, cheese toast, crackers, whatever kind of starch that you like, or just by itself. This is a favorite of my family. And And it's a good way for kids to get their veggies in too. You know, my 6-year-old, even she enjoys it. But let me go ahead and I have some in a bowl here. I was letting it cool off. So I'm gonna grab a spoon and taste it. On cam, I'm gonna taste it on camera. And if it doesn't have enough salt, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna be like, no, this needs some, or whatever. Let me see. It's good. The lima beans are good. They're very tender. Nothing is overcooked. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to it, but it doesn't like necessarily need more salt, but I think that it would help to balance out the sweetness just a little bit more if I add some more salt to it. But, and so I'm gonna probably add maybe another teaspoon or 2 teaspoons, something like that of salt. But I wound up using kosher salt and pink Himalayan sea salt. So I did that. Yeah. Anyway, so all right. I thank you all so much for joining me at 234 in La Casa, and I will be coming back maybe tomorrow or so with some more videos. I really, like I said, I enjoy connecting with you all via YouTube, and I look forward to connecting with y'all more. You have a great day, and stay positive. Try and do a gratitude list, you know, write down the things that you're grateful for, and make sure you talk with your family and let them know all the things that you're grateful for too. And you can talk about the best part of your day and the worst part of your day. I know my kids and I do that, and a lot of times they'll say that what the worst part of their day was, but they always say that it was actually, they're going to make something good out of what would be thought of as the worst part of the day. They're actually going to turn it into something positive. And so it just opens up conversation for you and your family members. And it also, you know, helps release some serotonin in our brain when we personally think about the things that we're grateful for and we say them out loud or we write them down. It just helps you to be able to put certain things in perspective and know that things are better than what you may be, you know, thinking that they are. And I will just say this: I am not perfect. I have plenty of flaws. I have lots of things that go on in my personal life. I get mad, I get upset, I get disappointed, I get hurt, I get betrayed, I betray, you know, all of this stuff. So I am in no means saying that I'm some, you know, queen on high or whatever. We are all human, and it's part of the human experience, the duality of humanity, that we can be two things at once. We can be very honest and we can be a liar. We can be wonderful and we can be horrible. So it's the duality of the human experience. And so I just don't want, you know, anybody to think that I'm some kind of, you know, whatever. I have things that go on with me too, but I'll tell you, you know, living and writing down what I'm grateful for. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am blah, blah, blah. It just puts things in perspective. It really, really does. And it gives you a moment just to kind of come to yourself and really recognize all the beautiful things that you really do have in your life, and know that this too shall pass. Okay, I will look forward, like I said, I look forward to connecting with you all again later, and I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys, take care.